My refuge has always been the outdoors. That's where everything feels possible. Society likes to label people like me. Hippies, bohemians, granolas, tree huggers. But I prefer the term nature child, which my mom called me growing up. I was only 4 when I shook my finger at my uncle for throwing a piece of trash on the ground, telling him it wasn't biodegradable. He had to ask what that word meant. An entire education in a moment. That's usually all it takes. One moment. I don't pretend I'm holier than thou. I just have an alarm bell going off in my head all the time. The sea turtle choking on the 6-pack ring. The hungry, pregnant orangutan clinging to the last tree in her forest kingdom. The couple making out above a dead trophy lion. I force myself to look at those images, but it takes a toll. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without breaking down into tears. Got online again and I saw the images of the Brazilian rainforest on fire. Somehow, the deepest part of me feels ravaged and laid to waste. We're like parasites, just leeching off of this planet, and the planet is getting rid of us. That's what's happening. We're gonna get spat out, and we're gonna have nowhere to go. There's a new diagnosis for my condition. It's called eco-anxiety, and it's really hard to find relief. It's the nagging feeling that we're living through an environmental apocalypse that most people don't seem to notice. Either we're too busy surviving life to think about the entirety of humanity in peril, or our brains just aren't wired to comprehend its magnitude. I'm not often in such a state, but my condition has worsened in the past 2 years living in Trump's America. It started off as just dark dreams, and now it's a nagging daily dread. This anxiety has an origin, though. A personal family tragedy won't let go of me. My family's home city has been lost to a war and an occupation. We're not just talking about an army or a dictator taking over the rule of law. We're talking about 6 square kilometers of a bustling city closed off to all humans and held as a captive for 45 years. My mom's childhood home is inside this ghost town. It's hard to comprehend, I know. To this day, our city Famagusta remains a memorial to war and a reminder of what nature does when humans are no longer there. A potent warning that lodged itself into my psyche and manifests at moments like this. I'm never gonna use this. No fucking way. Nature, you goddess. I'm lost without you. In my search to find lifestyles that repair instead of destroy, I found myself in Denmark, where according to recent polls, the happiest people on Earth live.
I think we are the most trusting nations in the world. And trust is tightly connected with happiness or life satisfaction, that you are trusting your society, you're trusting your system, and you're trusting your neighbor.
There's a very special island at the crossroads of the Baltic and North Seas. Samso, once the meeting place for Vikings, has managed in 10 years to transform from a fully oil and coal-based economy to a model renewable energy community. Today, all the electricity comes from 21 wind turbines, and 75% of the heat comes from local solar power and biomass.
We have the land, there's a lot of wind here, so why not harvest the wind? It's good business. So we had a much better economy after 10 years because we changed from import energy to local produced energy.
So it has been much easier to be farmer because I earn a lot of money from the wind turbines. Yeah.
It was not just a project to save the polar bears in the Arctic or the climate and stuff like that. It was to save ourselves. And we took on the responsibility to kind of create our own future.
It's just part of how we are on this island. I think it's in the DNA here. There's only 3 ways to teach: by example, by example, by example. Showing, not saying. There's a shame in me, at least, a shame for being human and a shame for being alive. And I think that's also part of what I'm trying to mend with this. I think I need to find ways to deal with that in a positive way, in a powerful way, and
You use it as a driving force as opposed
absolutely,
to being crippled by it.
Yeah.
So we have this big climate change in front of us, and it's so close to us now. We should all kind of focus on what we can do and need to do. It's financially viable, there's business in it, the whole communication will change if we start talking about the potential of climate change instead of the threat of climate change. I mean, all the, climate adjustment in piping of water and walls and all the things that we have to do here, it creates a lot of jobs. We have to get together and see what opportunities it gives us.
Som jo er det her store problem, hvordan kommer vi ud af det?
If you look at it from a negative point of view, then everybody will lean back and close their eyes and do nothing. And that's not a good position to do things.
No, disempowering. Yeah. I'm humbled and in awe of Samso Island. I just feel more at peace knowing that I'm not blasting CO2 emissions into the atmosphere, knowing that I'm not burning ancient fossil fuels, that I'm taking advantage of the unlimited wind that's being poured on this island every day. These people have it figured out, and we have a lot to learn from them.
We have all the technologies and the methods that are needed to make the change. So it's not like that we are standing with a challenge that has no solutions.